In a small village surrounded by gentle hills and streams lived a young gardener named Liora, full of dreams. Her garden was her sanctuary, filled with vibrant colors, with tulips, daffodils, sunflowers, and herbs swaying gently. Every morning, she walked barefoot through the soft morning dew, feeling the cool, wet earth press lightly against her skin. She checked every seedling, examining the soil closely, turning it with her fingers and listening for its quiet whispers. The villagers admired her dedication and skill, often stopping to compliment her work as they passed by. But beneath her excitement and energy, a flaw lingered, an impatience that shadowed her talent and careful hands. She wanted results immediately, fast and perfect, believing her hard work alone could speed up nature's pace. Each day she grew anxious, watching tiny sprouts slowly rise, sighing whenever they failed to appear quickly enough. "If these seeds don't grow fast, what is the point?" she muttered, glancing at the soil with worried eyes. Her neighbor Mara, an older gardener, grew calm vegetables, her carrots long and straight, her tomatoes deep red. Liora's pride made her resentful, and she thought, "Why can't my garden be like hers?" Every morning she watered the soil meticulously, checking for dryness or too much moisture, adjusting constantly. Sometimes she dug up tiny sprouts to examine roots, hoping to see signs of growth faster than nature allowed. The old gardener watched quietly from a distance, his wrinkled hands resting on a worn wooden cane. "Patience, child," he said one morning gently. "The plants grow on their own time, not yours." But Liora only nodded politely and returned to work, believing she could convince nature to follow her schedule. One spring, she discovered a rare golden seed at the market, promising extraordinary fruit that would astonish the entire village. Excitement filled her heart as she bought it immediately, imagining admiration from everyone who saw her harvest. She planted it carefully in the best spot of her garden, a patch of sunlight that glimmered every morning like gold. But even with perfect placement, she watered it excessively, thinking constant attention would force growth. Days passed, and still no sprouts appeared, and Liora grew anxious with every passing hour. "I've worked so hard," she exclaimed. "Why isn't it growing faster than all the other plants?" She dug up the seed repeatedly, examining it, touching it, whispering to it, hoping for magic. Her neighbors saw her pacing through the garden, hands covered in soil, speaking softly to the earth. "Stop worrying so much," one of them said. "Patience is the gardener's greatest tool." But Liora could not wait. She wanted immediate results. Her excitement turned into frustration, frustration into obsession. Other plants began to suffer from neglect, crowded by her repeated replanting and excessive care. She measured each day with worry, counting hours and minutes, analyzing each soil change, comparing to every nearby garden. Sometimes she argued with herself out loud, questioning whether she had the talent she once believed in. Weeks went by, and her impatience worsened, making her obsess over tiny changes she could not control. At night she dreamt of the golden fruit glowing in sunlight, admired by everyone in the village. She imagined a festival where everyone praised her work, and she felt both pride and fear of failing to deliver. Her interactions with the old gardener grew more frequent as he tried patiently to teach her the rhythm of growth. "Water gently, wait, observe," he said one morning. "The seed knows when to grow, not you." But she only nodded and went back to her frantic work, thinking she could outsmart the natural pace of life. She added fertilizer, changed the soil, moved the seed, always whispering words of encouragement as if it could hear. Her neighbors watched in concern, noting her anxiety, and offered guidance gently, reminding her patience brings results. The first tiny sprout finally emerged, barely breaking the soil, and she almost shouted with relief and joy combined. But her excitement was mixed with fear, afraid it would die if she didn't act quickly enough. She continued to water, move, and whisper to it daily, not realizing that too much attention could harm it. Her hands were raw from digging, her back stiff, but she did not rest, driven by longing for immediate success. Even the old gardener sighed quietly, knowing she was learning the hard way through frustration, trial, and slow, painful mistakes. Finally, after months of patience and gentle care, the golden seed sprouted fully, reaching toward the sunlight. Its leaves unfurled delicately, its stem strong yet flexible, and tiny buds appeared, promising fruit that shimmered like gold. The villagers gathered to see her harvest, amazed by the beauty and richness of her garden. Leora knew the real victory was not the fruit, but the lesson she had learned while nurturing it slowly. She began teaching young gardeners the importance of patience, reminding them that rushing only leads to mistakes and wasted effort. Nature does not hurry, she would tell them softly. It gives its best only to those who wait and nurture. Over seasons, her garden thrived more than ever, every plant healthy, strong, and vibrant under her care. Even when storms damaged some plants, she remained calm, repairing and tending carefully without frustration or panic. Her patience became a symbol in the village, reminding everyone that slow, steady effort brings true reward. Every spring brought new lessons, new growth and joy, and her garden reflected her inner transformation as well. The rare golden fruit thrived fully by the season's end, shining brighter than anyone in the village expected. But what Leora valued most was her growth inside, the calm strength earned through waiting and careful observation. Her garden became a living lesson for every villager, showing how impatience destroys while patience preserves and nurtures. Even the smallest seedlings, tended with care and patience, grew into strong, fruitful plants, proving the truth repeatedly. Leora often walked through her garden at sunrise, touching leaves gently, breathing in the quiet morning air. She remembered her old mistakes, smiling with humility, and whispered softly, "Good things take time to flourish." Because in that small village beside flowing streams and hills, everyone remembered Leora's journey. Patience preserves and steady care transforms potential into lasting beauty.